Well, choco chip ice cream and gun control, they certainly go together and are very politically compatible. Now, let me give you some even more upsetting numbers about US mass shootings so far this year. In January, 87 people have died in US mass shootings, 205 have been wounded. In February this year, 54 have died in US mass shootings, 160 have been wounded. In March this year, so far, 48 people have died and 86 people have wounded. There are still 3 days left, possibility, and we hope not, that there could be even more violence. That's a total number of deaths in US mass shootings in 2023 so far of 189. That's an average per day of 2.1 deaths in a US mass shooting. The total number of wounded persons in US mass shootings so far in 2023 is 451. That's an average of 5.1 American citizens being wounded by bullets every single day so far in 2023. Now, 7 gunned down in that brutal mass shooting in that Nashville school. But here's a picture that could perhaps explain the culture of firearms and their availability and why the US system refuses to clamp down on the easy availability of firearms. Take a look at this picture. This is the Christmas family photograph of Andy Ogles, who is the congressman representing Nashville and the area where the latest school shooting took place. This is a picture of him and his entire family posing with firearms in front of a Christmas tree. That's the kind of representatives this particular area had. And then you're wondering why there's no gun control in the United States. Take a close look at that picture, viewer, because it tells a story that cannot be otherwise explained. These are the people who are complicit in the blood of what's happening in Nashville and 132 other cases so far this year. A country that annually lectures the world, including India, about significant human rights abuses, freedom of press and expression. A country that last year informed India that it was monitoring a rise in human rights abuses. A country that somewhat grandiosely claims it is watching the Rahul Gandhi case and is engaged with the Indian government on freedom of expression. A country that deems it fit to issue oblique barbs on how judicial independence is the cornerstone of democracy. That same country, viewer, has been practically complicit in the deaths of 189 of its citizens this year alone, each and every one of them in a mass shooting. That's 189 Americans killed in 133 mass shooting incidents in just the first 87 days of this year. Before you think I'm indulging in whataboutery, let me just come out and say it plainly. I am. This is whataboutery. This is whataboutery in response to issues that the Indian press highlights daily despite being branded as having its freedom squeezed. And it's whataboutery that's necessary to remind the United States that as it takes the pedestal each year to chastise the world, it must be equally annually reminded about the aggressive complicity of its political system in the literally daily murder of its citizens. Forget about freedom of choice or human rights abuse. This is a sustained, politically sanctioned American attack on its citizens' right to life, to survive, to live. The Republicans don't want gun control. Nikki Haley, the Indian origin lawmaker who plans to run for the White House, speaking just hours after the latest school shooting in Nashville, said she opposes gun control legislation, telling voters that the solution is more metal detectors. On the other side of this clearly useless American aisle, the Democrats make helpless noises for gun control, but even when the numbers in the House and Senate have been favorable to the Democrats, they've entirely failed to control the free availability of assault weapons in the United States. Literally anyone can buy a firearm in the US, and if even slightly inclined, can embark on a mass shooting of the kind that's just taken place in Nashville. This same political system publishes report after report each year, lecturing the world. I don't wish to make this a parochial argument, but just for argument's sake, shouldn't such mass shootings be taken note of by India? At 4.5 million, Indian Americans make up 1.35% of the US population, the second largest group of Asian Americans. An overwhelming number of these have family, financial and cultural connections with India. As they are to all Americans, mass shootings are a threat to this large demographic as well. So I'm wondering, should India begin monitoring the situation, announce that it is monitoring the situation and say it is engaged with its US counterparts on the very concerning issue of daily mass shootings in that country? I'm just thinking out loud here. Many of us have family in the United States. Are we to ignore the horrifying statistics I've just listed out for you? I'll leave you with one final statistic to think about. 640 Americans had bullets enter their bodies this year in the United States. That's an average of 7.3 persons with gunshot wounds for every single day so far of 2023. And we haven't even reached April yet.